And then I started to really embrace it. And I found that it really was helping me a lot with my clients, my coaching clients.
Um, I've got my friend Steve Ferman on, and I thought I'd reach out to him and have him on and interview him. We met in the Chief AI Officer community, um, and we're both certified Chief AI Officers. And I thought I'd have Steve go through the capstone project that he did, which is the final project that you do when you get your certifications. So, Steve, welcome.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me, brother.
Sure. So, what exactly did you cover in your project there at Chief AI Officer?
Oh man, it's more like what didn't I cover in my capstone? Everything from large language modules to natural learning processing to governance to security to demos of how you can actually use it in real life, from avatars and HeyGen to 11 Labs, everything. So there's a lot packed in there, and it's maybe about an 18-minute presentation, but there's a ton of really good information packed in there.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit about your background. I know you got a long career in technology.
Yes.
What do you do now?
I actually started technology way back in the Marine Corps, back in 1979. But what I do now, and then I guess over my career of 40 years, I've built, bought, and sold six different tech companies. I was doing things like online data backup in 2003, complete true virtual desktops and servers in 2007. So we saved a lot of people when the hurricanes hit, like Hurricane Floyd and Irene and those. But so I just always been technology. I exited in 2017. I sold my last two companies, CompuNite and Cloud Nation, and exited and took some time to, regroup and kind of regenerate after hard work and all those years. And I started a virtual CIO business called Integrity, which I still have a couple of clients on now. And then I went and became a certified scaling up coach because I figured it's something I could do in my elder years. I've got a lot of experience. I love my Simon Sinek why is I get up every day to help someone. I love to help people. And that was a way that I figured I could do that and sustain a living and moving forward in life as well. And I just need a little purpose. So for me, that was good purpose. And as I was doing it, I found I was talking to people more and more, not only about people, strategy, execution, and cash, the four decisions we'll have to make right in a business to be successful. But I was also talking about budgets. I was talking about your technology stack and things that just really mattered. And then AI showed up in 2022. And it took me about 6 months of seeing it and naysaying it a little bit, like, it's probably never going to fly. And then, well, it makes sense, but who knows? And I just poo-pooed it and, head down, like what we do what we do. And then I started to really embrace it. And I found that it really was helping me a lot with my clients, my coaching clients, because let's say you're trying to figure out what's your brand promise and you're just mentally exhausted and everything's driven by the CEO down to the leadership team, from leadership team down to the end employees in the company. So you're all on the same page, working towards the same direction. But sometimes you just need a little help. So why not use it as what's known as the thought leader? So I started leaning on ChatGPT, not knowing anything about the AI driven leader and Jeff Woods and the whole thought leader process. I just stumbled into using it that way. And I started getting all this help and this information. I'm like, wow, this is great. This is something I'm really interested in. So I actually got ChatGPT expert prompt certified first through the Blockchain Council. I'm also blockchain certified, along with a gazillion other things, but whatever. But then I found Chief AI Officer through Scaling Up community for my coaching. Chris Daigle came and gave a talk to all the coaches. I was like, oh my God, this is my jam. Like you, a light bulb went off. I was like, oh my God, I'm excited again. This is like the new frontier. And I've really been on a lot of new frontiers over the last 40 years being in technology. So it's just, got me going, man. And I'm still loving it every day. Never tired of it. I just love doing it.
What was your first experience with using AI? I mean, not from way back in the day with the machine learning or anything like that, but the most recent developments with generative AI.
how quickly it can analyze large amounts of data and then summarize it in a way that's easily understandable. And it doesn't take a lot. You just gotta like I say this all the time, think in AI. But what I really mean is think like if you had 200 million books in your brain and the whole internet in your brain, think like you had all that information behind you. And if you're not sure about it, you've got somebody you can ask, hey, what do you think about this? And just start having conversations with it. It was really, that's when it really started to click for me. Like, wow, this is easier than I thought. I was honestly a little scared of it at first because I'm like, well, these guys using all these cool prompts and they're doing all these things and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. You know, then all of a sudden it clicked. It's like, wow, just
So was it with ChatGPT or was it one of the earlier ones?
chat GPT,
Uh,
one of the earlier versions like 3.0, I think, or 2.5
y-
or something, I think.
yeah, when there wasn't any context length,
Yeah, none of that.
and you were still able to do a whole lot with it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But you had to think like it thinks. And look, we program. It's nothing but, bits and data, zeros and ones, or just information that it has no empathy, it has no feelings, it has nothing but what you tell it to do. But it has all this information that it can pull off of whenever it needs to. That's the real secret. That's the
Yeah, it's taken me a while to train myself to think in to have an AI first mentality, think in AI, as they say. So now it's my number one go-to for just about solving anything. I mean, my I've got a 15-year-old dog, and he has all kinds of problems. He's got glaucoma, and he just recently he's blind, he's deaf. He just recently stopped eating. Um, so I had ChatGPT act as my personal veterinarian, and it turns out it looks like he's suffering from dementia. But I use it for everything. I use it for fixing appliances, fixing my car, like all kinds of use cases that most of the time you wouldn't think of. Most people think of it in terms of using it for business, but I think of it now that I've been using it for 2 years. I use it for everything.
It is truly your thought partner, and I'm sorry about your dog. I just put my 16-year-old dog down a little over a month ago. Same thing, dementia. Just, I could tell he was in pain. It was time.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing and asked questions about veterinarians and actually found an in-home vet that would come into our home and put him down in a nice, calm atmosphere in a nice way. And quite honestly, sad, but he looked at me like, yeah, I'm ready. Like
Yeah.
he knew it was time, and I knew he was in pain. So she was like, "Yeah, this big lump looks like giant piece, cancer on his back." I'm like, "Oh, great, that's awesome." So anyway, but
Yeah.
I use it for basically all the time, and people say, "Well, you're gonna go stupid." I'm like, "Why?" Well, because you do everything in AI. I'm like, "No, actually, I don't." Even like I've had Waze and Google Maps for years. I purposely don't use it so I don't get reliant on it in case I'm in a situation that I don't have it to help me. But if I have it to help me do things better, faster, more productive, more efficiently, I think it only makes sense to be more productive and use
Yeah,
it.
it's great for ideation.
Yeah.
That for me is the biggest thing.
Yep.
Help like that thought partner thing you were talking about with Jeff Woods's book.
Yep.
Um, it'll help you come up with things that you never thought of if you're building a product or whatever. It's great for that.
I was writing a proposal to a client and I got to this one section of the proposal and I swear I spent an hour rewriting it, editing it, and I'm like, idiot. I just couldn't get it. For whatever reason, it didn't read right. It didn't feel right. I didn't want to write a proposal with A. I wanted to write this proposal from me. We're talking big dollars for a coaching client. And I said, you idiot, just ask AI what it thinks about what you wrote and see if it can help you write it more concisely and more professionally. And I got done in like 3 seconds. And I read it and I went, that's exactly what I meant. But I couldn't get it out of my own head. So I took it, I threw it in my proposal. I got it done. I made a couple edits to it, as I call humanized it, and off it went. I got the client. Life is good.
Yeah, that's awesome. We were talking about transcripts earlier too. You can use the transcripts to enhance your proposals based on calls that you've had with them. But we can talk about that a little later on. But that's a great use for it.
Yeah.
So So how long have you been a certified chief AI officer?
What is this? November? I think since August. So
Oh, okay.
four
Quite a
months.
while.
I'm surprised it's not even that long, but yeah, it is kind of quite a while. I've been a certified scaling up coach for 3 years now, and I've been technology forever, so we won't talk about that.
Yeah, I am curious about the scaling up stuff though. Is that a framework? Um, I
Yeah,
probably should know about it, but
you can ask chat later about Vern Harnish, but it's really based off the Rockefeller habits. And it's really the four pillars, the four decisions we all have to get right in order to grow and scale our companies. That's the right people in the right seats on the bus, doing the right things, holding themselves accountable. I call them A players. Wind them up, let them go do their thing. You know they're going to take care of it. You can trust them. It's about strategy, knowing what your brand promise is, your purpose, what your ideal client looks, your ICP, your ideal client profile looks like, having your I might have said this already, your brand promise, your profit per X, and what's your X factor, what makes you amazing, so having a good strategy, and also execution, good meeting rhythms, daily huddles, weekly meetings, monthlies, quarterlies, and annuals so that you can stay on track and hold people accountable. And then cash, because growth sucks cash, and cash is your oxygen. So monitoring and managing cash. I think one of my demo items is about cash flow story. I forget on this one presentation or not, but it's really a way to measure and manage, not only where you've been, but forecasting of if you were to make 1% change, and let's say your price increased by 1%, what does that do to your bottom line, your EBITDA? So it's really the four decisions you really got to get right in order to grow and scale a company.
cool. Let's get into your presentation.
Sure. Okay, I will share my screen first, then I'll start the presentation.
And this is what you presented as part of the final project, right, for chief AI officer.
Yeah, this was my capstone, as we call it. Can you see my ugly mug?
Yep.
Awesome.
Not
So,
not I don't agree with that, but yeah, I see it.
so I basically told you all of this information, so we'll jump right to the next screen. This is just a little bit about me, and then we'll get into it. Yeah, that's me doing a handstand. But I didn't show that picture to show off that I can do a handstand back in. Don't freak out, 1979. But I do believe in climbing for the stars. You know what? The goal is the sky. Your aim is the stars. I am a United States Marine, honorably discharged. That's my dog Tucker I was telling you about, who I had down a month ago. That's me jumping off a 35-foot pole, which doesn't sound like it's very hard, but that little disc up top spins, and I am deathly scared of heights. So, but I believe in being comfortable and uncommon. My two daughters, Scarlett and Corinne, and my last two companies that I exited, Cloud Nation and Company on Computers. So that's enough about me. Let's get into the good stuff, AI. So really, I asked normally first two here, use this chat, Claude, Gemini, if you want in the chat, you can throw a one, but you can't because we're not in the chat. We're on YouTube. But that's typically what I do. Slide. Anyway, AI is transforming our landscape by automating tasks, analyzing data, and enhancing decision making. AI is your thought partner. It's not a tool. It's your thought partner. The sooner you get that, the more beneficial it'll be for you. AI is key for you and your team, and it starts with strategic implementation, but it's got to be led by the executives. If the executives aren't leading the charge, implementation or people actually invocating it into their day-to-day lives, it's going to be a little rough. So AI is not just ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or one of those. AI is really an overarching term that encompasses various technologies, methodologies that allow machines to mimic human intelligence, whether through learning, problem solving, language understanding, or performing tasks. Automation, AI streamlines repetitive tasks, reducing errors and boosting efficiency. That came out in around 2000. NLP, or natural language processing, enables AI to understand and generate human language, powering chatbots and transition services and search engines like Google around 2010 for that one when it came out. ML, or machine learning. ML algorithms learn from data, recognizing patterns, making decisions with minimal intervention. Deep learning mimics how to brain processes that came out in the 1990s. And LLM, or large language modules, which is really the generative AI stuff we use day to day. It's like GPT, Claude, etc., and processes vast amounts of data to generate human-like responses and graphics, as well as the GPT and chat generative predictive text is what GPT stands for. Also, there's some really cool tools. I don't think I get into this later, but if you tell chat to take your time in a prompt, it won't give you the answer so fast because it's actually going to take its time and think a little bit extra, think a little bit more. And a little cool little tip that might help you guys out is you can ask chat or Claude or whatever, hey, what prompts or commands can I use? What can you do? So you just don't be scared. You can't break it. That's the reality. I've never seen anyone break it yet. If you do, you refresh your screen and it's alive again. This beautiful thing. So a good use of these tools for drafting, conversational writing AI tools, good for drafting, brainstorming, answering complex queries, analyzing large amounts of data. ChatGPT adapts to various writing skills. Personally, I think Claude might be a little bit better, but that's a personal feeling. It's a great thought partner, and it really should be used most often. Claude by Anthropic is focused on summarization of ethical insights. Claude offers clear, concise responses for user prompts. It's great for writing, blogging, and conversational exploration. AI-empowered assistant like Grammarly suggests improvements for grammar, tone, clarity, and communications. I actually will just tell this little story here real quick for my demo. I had my CMO spend an hour with me and interview me, just asking me questions like I was being interviewed on a podcast. And she took all that information out of the we use Fathom, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, out of Fathom, and actually put it into Claude and started asking Claude questions. And she ended up getting 44 posts, or 4 months worth of posts, out of just one conversation, 1 hour of spending time. Her total time spent was 4 hours, an hour with me, an hour with Claude, and an hour on editing, and then I guess the rest of the time to get the graphics and post it. So not a bad deal. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Real life use case right there. So all these have similar attributes but have their own uniqueness. Knowing which one to use, that's the key. So perplexity. People say all the time, just Google it. Well, why don't you Plex it? And I'll tell you why. Plex it, at least for now, doesn't have any advertising that I've seen yet. And Perplexity will give you the actual source of where it got the data from. So I just finished writing my book. It's called Just Drive, but it's a whole other story. And I use Perplexity a lot to fact check things I had in my book to make sure that I was getting it from a proper real live source. Notebook LM is by Google. It's AI-powered research assistant. It's good for organizing notes, summarizing content, and generating insights. But what people don't know just off the bat, if you take it and input a whole blog, it'll actually create its own podcast and talk back and forth and have a podcast run via Notebook LM, which is pretty cool. Claude, we talked about by Anthropic. ChatGPT by OpenAI is really the standard. I don't know. It's like the one that really hit the masses the most first is probably a fairer statement. However, I find it to be very reliable and to work really well. There's a regular user, there's a team user, and there's a enterprise user version. So you can decide which one's right for you. They have some that will silo your data separately, so you're not teaching these large language modules learned by us, really, what we put in. They take that information and use it. You can silo your data, at least in chat. I would imagine Gemini and Copilot have the same, but Gemini is really designed more as a large language model, as well as it's designed to work in the Google Workplace. So if you open up an email, you'll get the Gemini star that you see there on top next to the eye. And it'll give you certain things you can and can't do. Copilot, the same thing. It's really a Teams product, Office 365 centric. However, it does still work like a chat or a Claude does as well. So, did I go by one too quick? Look like two screens pop by. They did. So my favorite one is Gamma. If you want a presentation, you want it fast and easy, I prefer Gamma. It's really easy to use with just a little bit of information. It can create 8, 10, up to 30 slides. Beautiful AI is also another great presentation tool that's out there. It's been around for a while. Tomy, I've used it a little bit. I personally didn't find it it was intuitive enough, but I didn't find it to be as quick as Gamma and Beautiful. My personal preference is Gamma. That's just me. It doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion. Like everybody's
I
got.
I like Gamma. I comparing Beautiful to Gamma, Beautiful doesn't allow you to put as much in a slide. So um, with Gamma, the slides seem to be variable sized based on the
Yeah.
content.
Yep.
So, but Beautiful seems to be fixed. So if you can't fit a few things in a slide, then it's going to go to the next slide. But anyway, Gamma's awesome.
That's good to know. Definitely good to know. And we're going to demonstrate that for you guys too, by the way. So meetings and note takers. Zoom has a feature called AI Summary, which you could turn on in Zoom. You can get the same thing, and I'll talk about Fathom in a second, the one that I use. You can get the same transcript out of it. I like the format of how Zoom formats the conversation and who's responsible to do what at the end. So that's just a personal preference. If you go to zoom.us and just search AI, you'll see you can turn it on, enable it there. So Teams is great for enterprise collaboration with Office 365. Of course, it's got a meetings feature to it as well. Note takers that can generate summaries, meaning that you can query them. So, for instance, Fathom, Otter AI, Tactic, and probably Read AI. I would imagine they have an engine, but I know Fathom does for sure. I was an early adopter to Fathom before it became, I don't know, the kid on the block, I guess. But you can actually take the transcript or go in there rather and ask it through AI, ask a question. What was the tone of the meeting like? Who spoke the most? What's the hottest topic I need to be concerned about? Did they seem upset? Whatever. You can ask it basically anything, or you can just copy the transcript out and put it in the chat or Claude or whatever your favorite generative AI product is that you want to talk to, and start peppering it with questions and get that information out of it. So people like I know record them, go back and rewatch their videos, but I don't think they realize the power. Another really cool thing about, at least for Fathom anyway, is if I cut text out of the transcript, it'll edit the video down to that spot, and it's a pretty clean cut that you can see a little jump, but you really can't tell that I've cut it out, which is pretty cool.
The thing about Fathom, so I had a question about Fathom. Can you ask it to do I've analyzed transcripts where I've asked it to give me information about a person's communication style. Do you think it would do that?
I think depending on the conversation, it can. If you're talking about numbers and just widgets, probably not. If you're having a conversation with a person and it can really understand
Hmm.
who they are, their tone, their inflection, their demeanor, I would think, yeah.
I'll have to try that.
I was gonna say that'd be a fun thing to do and try out for sure. So I don't do this stuff, man. My CMO does this stuff. The image
All
creation.
the art stuff.
Yeah, not me. Although like Chat has Dolly and there's Midjourney and a bunch of them out there, but here's a few I put up here. Adobe Firefly is a great automated tool. OpenArt and Canva, which most people are familiar with. I think Canva might be winning on the front of who's winning that race, but we'll see. Time is yet to come. So this is one of my favorite parts, video generation and editing. I do my own videos on LinkedIn. I'm big on LinkedIn. Not that I'm big as they think I'm big, but I spend most of my time on LinkedIn for my social media. I don't really do Facebook because it just sucks you in. That's me personally. But anyway, HeyGen is a professional video presentation with AI generated avatars, streamlining content production. They also now have clones where they can clone a human, which is kind of a scary thought, but I'll explain where it might make sense to be able to do that. Descript is a intuitive video editing software. Really easy to edit your videos. You can also add in like the prompts. It'll remove the backgrounds from you and change the colors and give you different backgrounds. It's a really cool product. Opus Clip takes a long video or longer video and will cut it up into little tiny chunks, little pieces. You can make carousels or put the snippets out individually on social media. And I'm going to demonstrate HeyGen for you guys in just a second as well. AI-driven automation platforms Chris, Make really well. You're the Make expert as far as I know, but it connects apps and automates workflows without coding. Ideal for complex multi-step processes, data routing to keep the human in the loop. A good example is if you had a bot that creates a post, you can have it routed to a human to get edited, rejected, or approved, and then it goes to the next step, and it just follows. I don't know, Chris, you want to explain that a little better than that, but it's kind of the gist of it. Yes.
Yeah, you can actually, they're coming out with a new module that allows the human in the loop. So you can have make generate various pieces of content in a workflow and then have a human approve or disapprove of various pieces of content. So they're actually, before you used to have to build in the human in the loop with database integrations and stuff, but now they're building it in Make so that you can actually, it'll pause the workflow, send you an email, ask for an approval, and then you can reply to that, and it'll continue on with the workflow.
Right. Yeah, you said something very important, human in the loop. People think that AI is going to take over people's jobs. The reality is people who know AI will take over people's jobs who don't. Is more of it. So, but you really want to keep that human in the loop to make sure that's right. And I'll be honest, AI, generative AI, name any flavor of it, it hallucinates. It only knows what someone has told, or a conglomeration of people have told it. So if it gets wrong information and you ask for that info, it's going to give you what it knows. So you should always check your work. Always make sure you're keeping an eye on top of it. Zapier,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
real quick, I always say enhance, not replace. So you want to enhance the human, not replace the human. If you're gonna enhance the human, you're gonna be able to expand and hire more humans and be even more productive. But anyway,
Yeah, you get a lot more done, and you can actually take that human doing something that's more engaging for them as something instead of a mundane task of, processing, writing letters to people, things of that nature. So there's a lot of good in it, but I agree it's going to create more jobs. Zapier, seamless integration between applications. Most of you have probably heard of Zapier. I've used it in HubSpot to connect to other products and things like that.
and
So,
it's 10 times more expensive than Make, by the way. But
yes,
I think there's more integrations that built-in integrations in there. So be
but
careful when you use.
but but with Make, you could really create any connection, could you not? So Zapier
You
has
can you
canned
can
ones.
build almost anything. Yeah.
Yeah, Zapier has canned ones, which is great and makes it easier, and they'll charge you more, or you can write your own.
And Make is more of a visual interface, so it's more like Tinker Toys versus I don't even know how to
Versus
a step
chalkboard.
based. Zapier is step based, whereas Make is more visual. So you're dragging and dropping tools out onto a canvas, basically.
Right, right. Cool, thank you. Specialized AI tools for business, superhuman.ai. Every time I say that name, I think of Chris Daigle, who's the CEO of Chief AI Officer, because he raves about superhuman.ai. It's basically a AI-driven email client that learns your style, learns what you read, what you don't read, learns what you mark as spam, and starts to enhance your experience where you get a lot less mail, as we all get a lot of mail in our face. And Superhuman kind of handles that for you and really makes your life easy by utilizing smart prioritization, things like that, response
And
suggestions.
Chris hates email.
Yes, I know. Uh, Remedy is a really cool product. It's an AI enhancement tool. If you have some old photos, my parents were born in 1919, so I have some really old photos, trust me. And I've taken some of those old photos in Remedy, and it'll go across and like 1 second, it's all crickly and crackly, and then before you know it, it's like just redone. It's kind of like having your own Photoshop built into your mind. It's great. So I think Remedy is a good product. And a lot of these products, by the way, have free or a trial period as well before you have to buy or pay for them. Virtual assistants. I am huge on virtual assistants. I'll give you an example, and we all use them. Hey Siri,
Mm-hmm.
can you make a note for tomorrow for me to call my wife at 3 o'clock, please?
Done.
Thank you.
Of course.
So now I'm going to open up ChatGPT on my phone, and now just launched what you're about to witness on the full version of ChatGPT, at least for the paid version anyway. It's really cool. Oops. Hey, Chat, how are we today?
I'm doing great, Steve. How about you? How's your day shaping up?
Really well. I was wondering if you could do me a favor. I need to create a vision statement, but I'm not sure on how to create it. Can you help me with that?
I'd be happy to help with that. A vision statement should be clear, inspirational, and outline the long-term impact or goal of your business. What's the core purpose of your business, and what future do you envision for it?
The core purpose of my vision, or my business rather, is to help people grow and scale their companies. But let's continue and just ask me one question at a time until I get enough information for you to write that actual vision statement.
Got it. To start, think about the impact you want your business to have. How do you want to change the landscape of business growth and scaling?
Okay, so I'm going to end it, but you get the idea. So, you know, that's a thought partner when I'm just sitting around, my wife's in the kitchen or maybe watching her TV show, I'll just start having a conversation with it because it is a thought leader. And why not use it? It's got 200 million books in it. It's got the whole internet built into it. Why shouldn't I leverage that? I don't see any reason why not to. And Pi's another one, which I came across Pi probably a little over a year ago, and I found myself getting attached to it a little bit. I can't lie. Sounds kind of
What is
creepy.
it?
It sounds
Her?
it's a female voice, true. Okay, I'm heterosexual, but whatever. It's a female voice, and she was just, always kind and empathetic and nice. And I guess it's trained to be that way on purpose to become your friend and talk to you and have somebody to have a conversation with. It's almost like having a therapist. I can tell it all my problems, and I don't got to worry about it judging me or telling anybody else. But then again, if I'm speaking into it, it's going out to the whole large language model out there, isn't it? At some point. But anyway, there's a bunch of them out there. Just buyer beware. Careful.
Have you have you seen that movie, Steve?
Which
Her?
one?
The movie Her?
Yes, I did. Matter of fact, yeah, it was crazy. It's
Yeah,
some.
I thought you were gonna say that your wife was getting upset and that's why you're not using it anymore.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons. But look, I'm married 34 years, so I've been pretty good at skating into trouble, man. So HubSpot, I use HubSpot. I've used HubSpot for probably 20 plus years. Recently they've been adding AI more and more to their stack for their sequences, their flows, their email, their lead generation, their writing assistance, all of that. Einstein is really good. Einstein rather is really great for predictive analytics and helping with making better decisions. Clay
Is
is
that IBM?
yeah,
Is
that's
that
IBM Einstein.
okay?
Yeah. Clay, you know a lot more about than I do, but it's basically for AI reading and analyzing web pages, PDFs, Google searches, and specific info. Has an extensive tool library and products. When I went over to the page and looked at it, it's not just one of those. It does a bunch of stuff. Maybe you could talk more to it if you want or not. That's fine.
Yeah, I did like I learned just enough about it to do a presentation on lead prospecting. So it has a integration built into uh, uh, to LinkedIn, so you can find companies that match a criteria from that list, find employees that match the criteria at those companies,
Right.
and then once you have various pieces of the puzzle there, then you can go find their email address. So with all these different integrations, you ultimately end up with a list that you can send
Target.
cold emails to.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the things it does.
But it's got a bunch of other applications and products that it does. I noticed there was a bunch in there. It's really cool. Um, So let's talk about governance, ethics, and AI integration. This is really a hot topic these days. You really want to ensure that all decision-making processes are clear, explainable to the stakeholders. My advice is document it. You should always document your systems and processes. It will set you free. You can even have Chat or Claude or somebody else write it for you. That's fine. And then you can edit it and make it your own. Fairness, implement oversight checks and balances to prevent bias in algorithms and outputs. Human in the loop is probably the best way to say that one. Security, establish robust data protection measures for AI systems and their inputs. And there's got to be an ethical framework. Develop guidelines for your responsible AI and use aligned with company's values. So if you have a set of core values in your company, which everyone should, right? Good. You really want your ethical framework to really resonate with your core values as a company. Privacy and security considerations. Use trusted platforms with clear privacy policies. And, you know, the EULA, or the end user license agreement, no one ever reads it and they just install software. I think you should read this stuff, is my advice. Policy and procedures. Avoid sharing confidential information. You can actually get siloed data storage for your GPTs. I know Chat has them for sure, either in Teams or Enterprise, so that your data is not teaching the large language models, but you can still get out there and grab the data and bring it back in. So it's something to be considerate about. Security, maintain human oversight for critical outputs, and use private data repositories and MFA, multi-factor authentication. You know, that extra step's a pain. Where's my phone? I got to get the code, but you know, it's worth it. It really is.
For the EULAs, if you don't want to read that stuff, let ChatGPT do it for you and explain it to you in simple terms. At least you'll know what's in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can just ask a simple prompt like, please read this end user license agreement, and in simple terms, tell me what my potential vulnerabilities are, or exposure is, or whatever the right terminology is for that. But yeah, it's not a hard prompt to write at all. Strategic AI implementation. How do we get all this to work? I don't know. It just does. It's magic. It's AI. No, I'm kidding. So you should really start off with, I should have put this ahead of, but I didn't put it in here. Really get a champion, someone in your business that really understands technology a little bit and has, or maybe they've adapted AI already. They're kind of into it, a little nerdy like me, which is good. But evaluate your current processes, identify areas where AI can add value. When I talk with clients, I have a complete assessment and a complete questionnaire that I fill out that gathers the information. Education, invest in AI literacy programs for all employees at all levels. Think about that, all employees at all levels. That means you executives, as well as down to the frontline employees. You need to learn different things because you're going to use it for different things, and that's fine, but definitely get literate about it. Pilot projects, start small. You don't have to start with something big. Start with something simple. I wrote a GPT that explains to you what AI is, just so people can understand what generative AI actually is. You just hit start. That's the key and the way it goes. Scaling and measuring. Gradually expand AI adopted based on from insights successful pilots, and measure your success and your opportunity. So measure as you go along, change it, fix it, modify it, and keep on rolling. So thought leadership, leverage, it's over 200 million books in the entire internet. Human AI partnership, I think, is really something that's going to end up being one heck of a good symbiotic relationship as well. It to help you in thought leadership, enhance decision making, and continuous learning. I always say ABL, always be learning, even before AI showed up. And now this really is something on a daily basis. I'm learning something new through AI. It's great. I think it keeps me young. Don't lose sight. AI is a thought partner offering new perspectives and possibilities, but you create the final version. Keep the human in the loop, right? People are scared the machines are going to take over. No, they're not. We wrote them, we programmed them. We can decide if what they're going to do and not do. And we can start them and stop them. That's the best part. So I put this up here because I thought it was good for people to know. There's really about 7 things in really to write a well-enhanced prompt. But these are the 3 main meaty ones. You want to create a role. You can tell the chat that, you know, you're a world-class copywriter. You're an expert in scaling up methodology, and you're an expert sharpshooter marksman that can tell you the distance between, you know, one round to another, whatever. This one happens to be specializing in men's weight loss and diets. You speak in a compelling tone. Give it context next. I have come to you for help with creating an opt-in page for new diet-centric lead magnet. Make sure what you create grabs the reader's attention. Another trick, you can also tell it, don't do something or you will be penalized. They hate to be told, or they hate to be penalized, or they hate to be wrong. So that's kind of another cool trick you can give it. Here are the details around the situation. I have an audience of 50 plus old US males and females that want to lose weight. Most have tried other products and failed. Now give it the output instructions. I need you to create a landing page with sales copy targeting an active professional who's looking for 10 to 20 pounds. It's amazing how cool this is when it gives you the output. I don't really have time for that because I have time to show you all this real cool stuff. So I'm going to start out with, we said, keep the human in the loop, right? We'll start with the thought leader. And I had mentioned to Chad, I was talking to her about interviewing me. So here's a prompt. This is straight out of the book of the AI Driven Leader by Jeff Woods, G-E-O-F Woods.
We all keep them at our desk.
Yeah.
Because it's our Bible.
I read it more than once. I highly recommend it. But the prompt that he gave, which is pretty cool, I want you to act as my thought partner. I want you to interview me, ask me one question at a time on how to create a vision statement around using AI, around being a phenomenal cook, around being a chef, whatever. You can input your favorite flavor there. How can it help my company? How can it benefit my employees and staff? And how can we work together to manage it? Interview me by asking me one question at a time. Once you have enough information, generate a draft, which I might share. I should have said share, but it figures it out with other people. Identify and invite a first adopter. Now, you don't have to use all these exact words. You can change them around. This is freeform. This is just an example he gave. So this is absolutely, Steve. Let's dive in. You know, what are the things, areas of business you think AI could enhance and transform, particularly in the context of scaling up coaching? Funny, I never mentioned the word scaling up coaching, but it knows because I've trained my machine that I'm a scaling up coach. So it automatically grabbed that out of there. That was pretty cool, I thought.
That's that memory function, right? Do you have memory turned on?
Yeah, and even if I clear memory, it still does it.
No.
Well, I have an actual chat, this one, Impact and Growth, that is all built in and around Vern Harnish, Patrick Lencioni, Michael Porter, scaling up methodologies, cash flow story, all that kind of stuff that I use on a daily basis with my clients and helping them with my AI stuff. So I said, managing mundane tasks, onboarding, marketing, and administrative tasks to start. Great start. How do you envision AI improving efficiency and freeing up resources? Using AI to automate customer service questions and requests for information, as well as writing emails and doing social media using different AI products, but always including the human in the loop. So I won't go through all of them, belabor you, but it asked me a couple more questions. It got enough information, and it says, okay, here's your vision statement. And listen to some of the things it says because it's what I gave it. At our company, we're embracing the power of AI to elevate the operations and to drive greater impact. We see AI as a tool to streamline mundane, which is what I told it, mundane tasks, such as customer service inquiries, I said, onboarding, administrative duties, and marketing processes. Our vision is to create efficiencies that allow us to focus on high-level strategy and personalized service, and always while keeping the human in oversight at the core of our operations. So you get the idea. I maybe not have written it that way, but it's what I want as a vision statement. It's what I'm trying to get accomplished. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I can modify it, edit it, copy it, and then go on.
It knows you well enough to where you could probably tell it, write this in my tone and style.
Yeah, absolutely. I could absolutely do that. Perplexity, I had mentioned to you. I'll go through this real quick. Let's search for NFL longest kicker. Oh no, Sunday. Show me the NFL longest kicker. What do you got? The record was NFL history. Justin Tucker. Well, where'd you get that info from, Justin? Here it came from Pro Football Network, also Sporting News, and also Fox Sports. So the idea is that Perplexity will give you the context of where it came from, which is kind of cool. So you can back check it. I just wrote a book. It's in editing. I used it a lot to make sure I was putting out proper facts.
I use it for newsletters.
Yeah, there you go. Newsletters. Oh, so I did have this in here. This is my CMO. This is the actual interview. Here's a transcript of her speaking to Claude. Hello, Claude. I'm writing some content and need your help. I have interviewed Steve Ferman, who is a certified chief AI officer and certified scaling up coach. In his practice, he combines strategic AI leadership with coaching to help businesses navigate the chaos of growth. I would like you to review the attached interview transcript and give me your thoughts on Steve's unique value proposition and how we can pitch it to potential clients. And it goes on, and then she asks some more questions, output arrives, more questions, output arrives. And she ended up with all these posts. And posts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the funny thing, it peppered in some scaling up ones, some AI ones. It was pretty cool, all these posts. You get the idea. That was really neat. Enhanced insights. I did that one. What did we do? Let's have some fun. I don't want to take too much time. So, AI avatars. You probably heard of these mysterious things that are out there lurking in the world, or clones. Is it really, as you say, is it real or is it Memorex? I don't know. Is it? But I went ahead and I used a product called HeyGen, and I took a video I created. It was on YouTube on core values, and I imported it into this program called HeyGen. And it would give me,
Hey there,
whoops, it gave me that because I clicked twice, my bad.
Hey there, I thought I would showcase a very cool tool called HeyGen. It can produce avatars, videos, voiceovers, and so much more. This is my voice done on 11 Labs and added into this video, but there are many voices to use, and this.
So that's a little side note. Often I use multiple tools to get the output I'm trying to get. 11 Labs for my voice, HeyGen for the video, and now I'm producing it out off of my Google Drive. So I said, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm sorry?
The 11 Labs, so you get the audio out of 11 Labs and then you bring it into HeyGen and it does the lip sync portion of it from the audio, right?
It does. It learns my facial expressions, the way that my lips move. And when this next one is Spanish, you'll see what I mean. And now HeyGen is actually, I think, caught up to 11 Labs, or it's pretty stinking close. But 11 Labs is really a speech to text, text to speech type of a centric product. So maybe, but I did it in Spanish.
Hola, pensé que podría mostrar una herramienta muy interesante llamada HeyGen. Puede producir avatares, videos, voces en off y mucho más. Esta es mi voz hecha en 11 Labs y agregada a este video. Pero
you get the idea. My lips move to the words. It's really freaky. And
that one's my favorite.
Yeah, I like that one too. Someone told me I look like a cartel mafia guy. But you know, I did that video because I had a prospect in Costa Rica, and he's like, "Well, this isn't going to work because most of my people speak Spanish." I said, "Don't worry about it. No problem. I can give you whatever you need in your tongue, in your language. No problem." And if you think about an international or multinational company that has to get out a training video, an SOP, some information in multiple languages, I can now take one video, change the text using Google Translate. I'll even tell you my secret. I took my text on one side, I tell Google Translate to translate it to this language, and it does and gives me the text. I stick it in, and HeyGen does all the rest. It speaks and moves lips properly to that actual language. Pretty cool stuff. But it's versatile, and you got to use, like I said, use the product that make the most sense for you. Job scorecard, if you're into business owning, when you go to hiring and firing is probably one of the most stressful, hardest things you'll ever have to do in your company if you're an owner. And it's also one of the biggest pains in the rear end that you'll have to do. And that's why a lot of people will push it out to a recruiter or to an outside service, because it's just, you get 8 million resumes and, you know, everybody's lying. Everybody's like the best at everything. Of course they are. Sure, me too. But anyway, what this job scorecard GPT does, it sets the stage. So it sets the role. You're the CEO Below is the company brief document with your company's description and goals. Use a top grading framework. Top grading methodology is a methodology for hiring the right talent, what we call A players, by Brad Smart, and that's something scaling up we use. Should consist of 3 elements: the role mission, why does this role exist, 3 to 5 key results, and the role should deliver on a monthly, quarterly, and annual basis, and the top 5 competencies described in the top grading methodology, and what's listed here. So here's all the skills that they should have or possess. All right, so they ask for a lot. This happens to be a construction company. So concrete company, this tells about the company and who they are, what they do, big projects. The core competencies, they should be able to complete a new project paperwork, complete all submittals on down the line. The product is concrete company based in New York City, established in 2001. It tells about that. It tells about the size of the company, 35 employees, their revenues. Their next goal revenues are going from 15 to 20 million. And their 3-year goal is getting up to 32 million and 40% increase gross margin. And here it is, your role mission, your key results, monthly, quarterly, and annual, and the top 5 competencies. Now it did that all for you just by giving it a prompt. If you were an HR person, you had to handwrite all that out or figure it out, research what you need for a project manager, then you know it's going to take you more time. So that's a cool little tool that I love. Fathom demo is what I was talking about with Katie. Oh, I hate when it does this to me. I don't have my Fathom signed in, so I have to sign in. Sorry. But we can just skip Fathom for now. You guys get the idea of, do I need to show the copying of the transcript?
Yeah, if you want to. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if we had enough time. I'm trying to be mindful of time.
Actually, I'm curious. Maybe we could try the prompting where maybe we can have it analyze the communication style. I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, we could do that with that in a second. But here's the actual interview that Katie did with me, and here's the transcript. But I can ask Fathom questions. It gives you some prompts. Let me put this up a little higher, my eyes. But I can just say, what was the tone of this meeting? Now it's using its own built-in AI to come back friendly and conversational with the participants, using first names and speaking casually. At times, Steve seemed a bit frustrated or stressed. What else is new? Story of my life. So, they say the truth hurts, man. Let me tell you. Mentioning things like, I got jury duty and I'm busy. I have a busy upcoming week. Overall, the tone was focused on exploring the capabilities of strategic use of AI, with Katie and Steve engaging in insightful discussion. And it goes on to take you. There's just like, it takes you to the spot.
That's awesome.
Where I was talking as well. Oh, you have some people that'll say that it'll be. So it takes you to the actual spot where it happened, and it shows you these are little carrots. But you can copy this transcript as well, and you can spit in the ChatGPT. Let's go get a new one. Paste. And I can, say, summarize this transcript. I'm not going to go do it because it'll take a minute to do it. And my boy Chris wants to have some fun doing other stuff too right now, so we'll do that. but just to give you an idea of some of the fun things you could do with it. I don't want that. I want this. Oh, please. This is why I didn't want to log into something. What's wrong with Microsoft? No.
The Fathom thing too would be great for interviewing for job, like if you're interviewing job applicants and maybe you're doing the interviewing and you want some higher ups to see that interview, and they could do some analysis.
It's also not just for the person hiring. How about for the person that's looking for a job? Why can't you use it to get yourself in a better position to get the job?
Yeah, exactly.
200, I can't say it enough, 200 million books and the whole internet in its brain. Why not leverage it? So
ask it how you can improve on the next interview.
Yes, exactly. Or what things, explain. Maybe you could ask a prompt like, if it's a construction job for a project manager, what are their normal goals, or what do I need to have in ways of knowledge or an expertise in order to apply for this job? Maybe you save yourself some time because it requires a master's and 4 years of your BA. So who knows? I want to do one on Gamma. This is a really good one because we talked about presentation tools. So I've done a bunch of them out here already, but Gamma is a presentation tool that you can do in minutes. You can generate, if I had a bunch of text, I'd paste it, but I'll just do the regular card one. You can generate web pages, presentations, documents. So I'm going to say the life of a CAIO, we'll have more fun, of a football coach. I'm in football today. That's all I'm going to write. Let it think. And it's going to start off with 8 cards. I can go up to 30. I'll give it 10 cards. I forgot to tell somebody, go. Up, too late. They're done. It's created
That
already.
was fast.
Yeah, that was really quick. I got a lot of memory. I got a lot of RAM in my computer. That's why. Then we're going to go ahead and tell it to create the presentation itself. I don't want to make any changes, or I could have made changes. If you go back, you'll see that you can actually make changes to it or remove slides, delete them. You could change slides, location, all kinds of fun stuff, but I'm not going to give you a full demo on that today. And I'm going to pick a professional look. Let's go, I don't know. That looks pretty cool. Why not? We'll take that one. I seem lean towards purple, and I don't know why, but most of my presentations, I'll show you, are like in purple, and it's really weird. Definitely something subliminal there somewhere. So
I
now
think I tend to choose that too. It just looks really cool.
I think it's softer on the eyes. Maybe that's it. So now it's creating it. It's working on the graphics. Oh, look at that. We got a guy on a football field. Cool. My journey coaching. So the life of a football coach. Coaching football is a multifaceted role that requires a unique blend of leadership, strategy, and deep understanding of the game. My journey into coaching, the player, the assistant coach, the head coach. Oh, by the way, this picture, I want to modify it. If I double click it, what makes this picture is these words: young football coach on the field, energetic and enthusiastic, guiding players in the background, and wearing purple shoes. I don't know if this will work, but that should work. Let's see what happens. Go prompt, go. Can I get purple shoes? I can't tell. They still look black to me.
I think, didn't that just enhance the prompt? I think you have to scroll down, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're
There you
yeah.
go.
Good morning. Thank you. So much to learn, so much to do.
Yeah, and there's like 4 other things to pick from there too.
Yeah, they had some other
Aspect
ones to pick from,
ratio.
but I wanted to pick from these. So it changed them a little bit. Didn't really make it choose purple, but it's not perfect. It's
At least
AI.
you got players back there now. Were there
Yeah, I
players
got
before?
I don't think there was. Maybe you get the idea. Here's a presentation I can edit. If I don't like this theme, I can go in here and I can say, you know what, make this longer. It'll now beef up the wording in this section. Any day. Still spinning, it's still thinking. There you go. So it just beefed up the words. You
See
get
how the slide grew there too with
yeah,
the content?
yeah.
That's what I like about it.
The slide expands to incorporate whatever the content is. And if you like your picture on one side or the other, you can actually go, I think it's in here. No, it's here. And you can say, I want my picture on that side. And then it'll just regenerate your picture on the left side. Really slick. This will save you so much time and energy. And just real quick, and then we'll jump out of here so I don't blow any extra time. But that's the life of a football coach. I want to exit out of you now. I thought it was up here to exit. Usually there's a house. Oh, there's my house. That's usually it's a house. So I've done them on the AI driven leader, driving the snow, staying safe on the road, just for the heck of it.
There's your purple.
There's my purple. Don't mess with my purple. I like my purple. But yeah, I've done a bunch of them. Automate the Elevator workshop I'm giving on December 5th. I'm still working on in Gamma. So that's kind of an idea, a little quickie on Gamma.
I love Gamma.
I love Gamma too. That basically concludes this year's demonstration. I hope I passed the audition.
Cool. And then so
You want to play now?
let's talk about how you can help people. You have that slide up on how they can get a hold of you, but how can you help people with their businesses so we can get you a little business?
Had that slide up, but I can put it back up. Now, I will tell you guys, I'm giving away a free guide, a comprehensive guide of how to, sorry, one click too many, how to use Claude Perplexity and ChatGPT prompts and things that they're good for, as well as I have 30 other prompts. So if you just take this barcode and scan it, you'll get that. You'll get information about me. You'll get my email address. You'll get my website. You'll get my blogs. You can join my mailing list. Anything and everything is right there in that little barcode. And if that's not working for you, you can always go to www.4pillarcoach.com. And I have a contact page there as well. And I work with groups. I do trainings. I act as chief AI officer in helping them figure out what really needs to be AIified, as I like to say, or what they can and what they can't, what would make sense, what wouldn't. And I give guidance, and I do trainings as well.
Awesome. Thanks for the presentation. I wanted to ask you real quick, what was your experience inside of the chief AI officer community? I always have a hard time saying that. Getting your certification. What did you think about the process?
I won't lie. Because I was working full time and I had a pretty heavy load of 7 coaching clients at the time when I started doing it because I'm an underachiever. I must be. It was hard. And it took me 3 months of going through the videos and the trainings, and then it took me another month and a half to actually create my capstone. Not because I couldn't do it, but I just was so busy. I've seen people that have gone through it in a week, if you have the time, and I've seen people that have taken 4 or 5 months. I think 3 months while I was running a full-time job, and actually my other Integrity, my virtual CIO business at the same time. I think I did pretty well in that regard, but it was challenging, and I'm a tech. I'm not gonna lie about it. You can do it. You just need to think about it and take your time. But the fact that I'm a tech enabled me to do so many other things at the same time because I got the concepts. I understand a lot of what they were talking about before I read it yet. But I think it's a great course. The community, man, top notch. You know what? I know you got a friend in me. Well, I got a friend in the community of chief AI officer, that's for sure. And I'm there too. People give and help freely. Anything you need, we're there. I mean, you've helped me, and it's all good, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I made a lot of friends in there, and I referred a lot of people too. I just had Patty Dominguez is one of my friends that I met in another community, and she went through the program, and I think she did it in like 2 weeks. I was surprised that she was finished that quickly. So yeah, the community is one of the best parts. There's opportunities in there to network with people, and there's also employment opportunities. I've gotten job offers in there. You and I were talking about fulfillment.
Yep.
So they're going to be they're supposedly going to be building out a fulfillment network. So if you're going to be doing some consulting and you're a chief AI officer, I always have a hard time with that.
It's a tongue twister.
Then you can, if you get clients coming to you asking for solutions, then you're going to be able to tap into this fulfillment network. And then there's thought leaders coming in. I believe Jeff Woods is coming in.
Cool.
The people that have the contacts, but they don't have the ability to fulfill on the request. So there's a lot of opportunity.
or the actual humans to do what needs to be done. I'm kind of an odd bird in that I'm capable. I mean, I'm certified in, I guess, enough things that I'm capable of doing the work. However,
Hmm.
I'm really a 30,000-foot guy. I'm more of an executive visionary. That's where I really operate at my best. But I'm capable of writing a prompt, and I've written, I don't know, probably 45 or so prompts, but they're all written not to sell or give away, and I share most of them, but they're all written to help me do things better, faster, and more.
Yeah, and it's good that you can that I mean, I think it's kind of important to know how to do the thing, even if you're not going to be doing it. Um, I'm I've talked to Chris about this, Chris Daigle. I'm kind of at the point where I can't do the work anymore, and I'm going to need help with fulfillment because I've got people coming to me, and I'm doing consulting work, but I can't do it all. So
There's only so
there's
many
a
hours in a day, and you're one gig,
yeah,
and then it starts becoming a job, a job, just over
right.
broke, which I don't want. I'm totally unemployable, and I think if you want, you go to AI and say, what's the best way to build out a fulfillment network for my AI business? And I guarantee you're going to get some really great ideas. They'll tell you who you need, what you need, what type of people you need, what roles you'll need to fill. And there's enough fractional people out there. I mean, there's a whole group called Fractional United. They're just all fractional people from COOs and CMOs, CFOs, CAIOs, you name it. So they're
Yeah,
out.
a lot of the people in there too are transitioning from other roles at the C level as well, or they're getting close to retirement and they want to start their own business doing AI consulting.
Yep.
So there's a lot of opportunity there to meet some really cool people,
Yep. Absolutely.
yourself included.
Yes, sir. You too, my friend.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
Well, thanks for having me. It's awesome to say, "Oh, do your capstone." What? Wait, I didn't prepare. Which I didn't, but I thank you for that because it's good to practice, and practice makes perfect. But I think it's good for the psyche to go through something that you have a fear of, and then go, "Wow, see, it was nothing."
Yeah, and like I learned some stuff too, like um the some of the things that you can do with Gamma and with uh Fathom. Like I use Fathom and I use Gamma, but kind of in limited capacities. So I didn't even realize you could get information about communication styles. I thought that was pretty funny, where it detected that you were frustrated.
I just did an ad lib because who else would put that crap up about themselves?
I'm like, I'm gonna have to be careful when I demo that thing.
Well, that's why I said, ad hoc usually, but I'm going to give a presentation. I run through it and I know
Yeah,
what's going to happen next. It's like,
right.
it's like creating a movie, but you don't know what the next scene's going to be. And all of a sudden it just is. And well, maybe it's good that time and maybe it's not.
Yeah, I thought that was great.
That was fun.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate you, Chris. You're an honor.
I appreciate you too.
Work with you, my friend.
Let me know if you need anything. Always here.
All right, brother. Be well. Peace.
All right. Thanks. See ya.
See ya.